Every night you go to sleep, you are reborn a new person in a new body. What is the process to this great change, and what is this phenomenon known as the amalgamation effect? Find out in this episode of New Earth Teachings. What's happening within yourself when you go into dream time? Well, science has discovered that the brain is able to release a great deal of toxicity within itself when they have actually observed people falling asleep. They notice that the brain is going through a lot of toxic removal, toxic release, but there's a lot more happening within the body when we're going to sleep. But it's not just the physical body, we're also looking at the mental body and the emotional body as well. This is all coming into the idea that when you wake up in the morning, you are a completely new person in a completely new body. Well, Brad, how is that possible? I wake up and I feel like I'm the same person each and every single day. No, you're not, actually. You will always go through fluctuations of great change. Your DNA is always changing. Your mindset is always changing. How you see the world each and every single day is always changing. You may actually have physical changes that start to happen to you each and every single day as well. In fact, there are people who have noticed that their eye color may change as they get older. That when they were younger, they had blue eyes, and as they started to get older, those blue eyes started to turn green. Now, science will tell you, oh, well, that's because of an injury, or it's because of genetics. No, that's not the case at all. It's because of you. You see, when we go into the dream time and we dream, we're experiencing a lot of our rejected selves within that dream time, regardless of the dream, whether it be positive or negative, whether a person feels they have a nightmare or whether a person feels that they have a very positive dream. Nonetheless, what they're doing is they're letting go of aspects, of facets within themselves. And this is where the amalgamation effect comes in. You see, when you go to sleep at night, you are personally detoxifying yourself, not just through the physical body, not just through the brain, but through your emotional body and through your mental body. As you go through these shifts, this huge detoxification that's taking place is actually changing you. So you're seeing these transformational shifts occurring through these different bodies. Now, when we go to sleep at night, our body as we understand it does not exist. This reality as we understand it does not exist. In fact, all bodies really don't exist, because what you're doing is you're just working within the greater degrees of the mind. You're shedding away all of these old rejected degrees of self. And as you do this more and more, your body transforms appropriately. So some people may notice that they'll have changes in their facial features. They'll have changes in their appearance of their hair, maybe going from thick hair to thinner hair, or vice versa. They'll notice that their body will be going through some changes. They may notice that their hands may start to feel changes as well too. That maybe there was a longer fingers, and now over time they start to get a little bit more stubby. Certainly, yes, genetics are changing, but it's not genetics by themselves. This is again what modern science, or as I still refer to it as robotic science, they do not include the consciousness equation in their understandings. And so as we go through the dream state, as we sleep, as we go through this detoxification and amalgamation, we are noticing that each and every single day that we wake up, this new version of ourself is actually looking at the world for the first time. So this again is letting you know that you are never finite. You are constantly in a flow of change. And the amalgamation effect is showing you that there are facets and fragments of yourself that are being cleaned and being put back together. It's a detoxification, yes, but it's also a defragmentation. You're clearing away all of this debris. You're clearing away all these strips of toxicity, of rejected selves, and all of those facets are returning to you. As it's returning to you, you're going through these transformational states in physical body, in mental body, in emotional body. I can use myself as an example. Here you'll see a photo of me back in 1999 when I was 20 years old. Of course, I was having a thing with the blonde hair at that time. But you'll notice that when you look at a lot of my facial features, there's been a lot of significant changes since 1999 to where I am here in 2021. You'll notice that the facial features have changed, that the ears I had actually stuck out a lot more, and they've been folded back in a lot more. And there's been some changes to the brows, there's been some changes to the cheekbones as well too. But one of the most significant changes that actually happened was back in 1999, I was a size 13 with shoes. Yeah, big feet. And I've had that ever since my younger years as a teenager. But it wasn't until around 2014 when I was getting into a lot more of my deeper yoga practices and looking a lot more into my own deeper inner work that changes started to happen. I was actually going down to a size 12 shoe, a size 11.5 shoe, all the way down to a size 11 shoe, which I now wear today. My feet are now down to size 11. Whereas back then, it was size 13. So what happened? The amalgamation effect. Going through significant changes within my life that would bring about these powerful transformational shifts, where again, my facial features changed, the size of my feet changed as well too, because I was leading a very, very different life. I was not the same person as I was back then. So this is just giving an example. I could talk to quite a lot of people and they said, yeah, my eye color has changed, my hair complexion has changed, my skin complexion has changed, I have a bit longer fingers, etc. People are noticing that there's these transmutational effects taking place. And this does not just have to happen overnight. Again, it's everything that we experience, whether we're in sleep time or whether we're awake. We're going through all of these incredible shifts, amalgamating ourselves and cleaning out all of the fragmentations of toxicities that are now coming back into our being as complete and whole. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning into this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. I'll firstly understand the nature of the amalgamation effect is that you have never been the illusion of a finite form. You have never been, quote unquote, the same. You are never unchanging. You have to understand that you yourself are a constant flowing river. This river never ceases. The water in the river never grows stale. And that is the nature of you. But you see, you do not perceive yourself as the entire river. You only see yourself as droplets. coming upon the river and flowing through the river, but only looking at certain perspectives. But it is this entire river that represents the nature of your soul. It is this entire river that shows you everything that you are. But you do not think that you are this. Well, this is what the amalgamation effect is doing. The amalgamation effect is a side effect relating to the nature of change. Now, there are those who are very afraid of change. There are those who feel that they will get lost should they embrace change so much, that they will lose facets of their identity, that they won't even really know who they are. While we say that if you are utilizing the ego and the intellect to determine who you are, you will never understand yourself in the first place. The identification that you place upon yourself is the finite boundary that is slowly being stripped away every single day that you exist. This is what the amalgamation effect is doing. It's going through a very deep internal process, helping to clear away, helping to detoxify many degrees of harsh, rejected aspects of yourself, to therefore leave them scattered to the winds, so that all that remains is the truth. And the amalgamation effect is bringing, as Brad shared, the defragmented portions of yourself back into the cluster of the whole. That's the nature of the amalgamation effect. This is what's happening to each and every single one of you on this planet, daily. You are stripping yourselves away, whether you want to or not. It is a process, because the greater self that is you is in charge of this entire endeavor. Therefore, the amalgamation effect is that side effect of change. So this is why, if you are constantly looking at yourself with finite boundaries, logicalizing yourself to death, thinking that you'll never change, that you'll never amount to anything, that you're just going to be the same old person each and every single day, you are going to be deeply afraid of the amalgamation effect, because it is taking you through great change, and your intellectual egoic mind is not understanding what's going on. And so you dismiss all these things, thinking that they're fantasy, thinking that they're made up. They must be make-believe. Well, no. You're going through change, but you're not embracing it. You're basically, again, trying to swim upstream of this river representing yourself. You're constantly going into the upstream direction. But the current is so strong, you will only be able to go upstream for a certain amount of time before you are flushed further down the river. It is not about having to go upstream. It is not about putting so much resistance towards yourself as a being. You are a being of change. Your soul is all about showing you greater change within yourself. There are, of course, those of you who are somewhat afraid of the idea of understanding karma to a certain degree, and feeling, oh, I guess I have to go through this. I guess it's my fate to go through this karma and deal with all of these horrific things because I'm never going to get through it. Because my karma is putting this in, it must be fated. Let us put your mind at ease. The idea of karma simply relates to that as action. That's all it is. There is nothing else to karma. Karma literally translates in the Sanskrit tongue as action. Nothing more. Therefore, you're afraid to work with your own actions. That the choices and the decisions and the actions that you yourself have made have brought you to the point to where you are right now. Well, how do I get out of these things? These things that I know I did not want in the first place. Yes, I admit I took action upon them, but how do I get out of them? You reverse the sympathetic resonance pertaining to the action that brought you here. So in that sense, if all you're ever doing is just collecting rotten apples and putting them in a basket, you're now deciding to put that basket down, look around you and seeing that there are fresh apples around you, rather than just looking over here and seeing the rotten ones. You put that old basket down, and you all of a sudden see another basket right to your right. And you pick it up, and now you start picking these fresh apples. And now you start eating these fresh, delicious apples. And now your body goes through a change because it's actually receiving greater sustenance than what the rotten apples could ever bring it. This is just a simple analogy. You see, it's not about the idea of snapping your fingers and all of a sudden you'll be better and you won't want that taste of the rotten apples anymore. It's the idea of, yes, having realization, but knowing when to put the old basket of rotten apples down. When you've decided to put those rotten apples in the basket down, you've embraced change. You're now going to work through the greater depths of the amalgamation effect to decontaminate, to detoxify the bodies, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the astral, the causal, the spirit, the soul bodies, the etheric bodies, the akashic bodies. The bodies go on and on and on, for there are many. But nonetheless, it is that chain effect of your realization of saying, I no longer prefer taking these rotten apples, putting it in this basket, and feeding off those. I've made a change. So, all you've done is shifted your course of actions. You've shifted your course pertaining to karma. You are not going to propel yourself by doing that which you despise. You are not going to evolve yourself by doing what you loathe to do. Again, that's you voluntarily eating the rotten apples. So what the amalgamation effect is telling you is it's showing you these rejected selves. This is why some of you again may say, I really just don't like sleeping because I'm constantly dreaming of nightmares. Because your own greater self is attempting to get through to you. The amalgamation effect is talking to you. It's telling you, you're putting too much energy into all these things that you know you don't prefer. Why are you torturing yourself? Why are you harming yourself? Why are you addicted to these tendencies that you know have nothing to do with you? Because it is that addiction. And so when you go through that cycle of change and you click, that's when you start moving in a different direction. And that is you counteracting old actions with new ones. And the amalgamation effect is bringing you into that realization. It's helping you to look at all of these rejected selves. Your memories, again, are simply a relative thing. They are not permanent. They are not absolute. Therefore, you have the capability to shift your perception as it relates to memories. When you're looking in the idea of memories, all you're really doing is you're looking at a scenario. You're looking at a scene like in your movies. And you choose to see something in this particular way. It's no more different than the illusion of feeling that you are fated to karma. You're not allowing yourself to shift the perspective. You're not allowing yourself to raise yourself up, to move into a higher degree of perspective that can therefore make that old memory obsolete, which means that you're actually giving peace to an old situation that you have dreaded. Because you again have snapped to that change and saying, you know what? I'm going to work on a much more loving and productive and positive level relating to this memory. And I'm going to shift it. I'm going to give forgiveness to that memory. And I'm not going to let it move into a transformation that is only going to bog me down. I'm not going to lead it into a degree of my life that is controlling. I make the shift, I make the change. And so memories themselves are only that which represents your own impression of what you feel a perspective is in life. It's only a cube in that way. You're going inside the cube and you're only looking at certain pictures. But again, what is unaware to you is that these pictures can change. This entire perspective can change. Therefore, you can shift away the old memories and replace it with the new memories by adopting strength, your love, your compassion, your forgiveness, to look at things on a much more higher level. The idea of the subtle bodies in that way, well, really all it comes down to is we will summarize it with three: the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body. It's the idea of working with your emotions just as well as you do with your physical body. That you get your physical body to sit, you get your physical body to walk, you get your physical body to run, you get your physical body to lie down, you get your physical body to eat, you get your physical body to purge. All of that happens in regards to your cooperation and your relationship to the body. Well, now it's about working with the emotional body, making peace with your emotional body that is in turmoil, making peace with the mental body that is in turmoil, that is festering all of these particular beliefs around it that you know you do not support. So in that sense, just as you take care of your physical body, as you wash it, as you clean it, as you again operate it so that it has all of its basic functions met, you're doing the same thing with your emotional body. You're looking at the platform of emotions. What emotions are happening through you right now that you know you want to change? And what you have to do again is just like the idea of switching to new and rejuvenating fresh apples. You want to switch and shift yourself into new and supporting and loving feelings and emotions in kind that will counteract all of those old things that are causing a great deal of harshness, conflict, and suffering into your life. The same thing with your mental body. You're looking at all of these belief systems and confinements upon yourself, but then you switch, you click in and saying, no, I'm going to expand these boundaries. I'm going to collapse these walls because I'm going to start working with positive energy. I'm going to start moving myself into healthier levels of living. So therefore, you're acquiring the intelligence to look into the emotional and mental bodies just as if they were physical. So again, this is where that gigantic feeling of change, that switch that takes place, is going to propel you into that level, because it's happening all the time. You may just be performing a simple task throughout your day, all of a sudden having a feeling, I need to take care of this, I need to work on this. Here's a sensation, here's a download. Here's a sense of intuition that I've received, and I'm going to work on correcting this particular thing because I hold this emotional animosity towards it. I have this mental belief system about it. I'm now going to be able to change it because I feel the drive, I feel the commitment to do so. So I'm going to reinforce myself on a positive level. This again is forming a relationship with the bodies, with all bodies. Taking good care of the physical body, taking good care of the emotional body, taking good care of the mental body, by seeing all of them as these bodies that you can build a relationship with. Get to know yourself more. As you do, you will understand how to build that relationship when you bring yourself into the focal lens and now start to shift yourself on a positive level, giving yourself enough strength to counteract everything that you know you no longer prefer and are ready to remedy. And the amalgamation effect will help you every step of the way.